So, ever since this morning when I did my Bible study, I've had this constant thought on my head that I wanted to share with you guys. And basically, it's just this one theme that kept popping up into my head. I was reading Numbers 1, 2, and 3 and Acts 28. And the main theme that I kept getting from it is God is in control. He always has been and he always will be. He wrote your story long before you were here, and he created every single one of us with a purpose to do good, a purpose to serve him, and a purpose to serve others in his name. Now, I know that we all have free will, and ultimately our choice whether we are going to live out our calling or not. God isn't going to force it on you, but here's what I want understood is following his will is not going to be a walk in the park. And I say this because I used to be told that, and honestly, like I used to believe it, is that if it's God's will, it'll be easy. And I was told this for a long time, and I believed it for a long time, that if it's God's will for something, that it'll happen and it'll be easy. You won't have any struggles. But that's actually not biblical. It's actually what is biblical is that we will be persecuted for doing his will and for doing what is right. It's not a maybe. That's what it says directly. Jesus said it specifically. If we're following him and we're serving him, we're doing his will, the enemy's going to attack us. And when you're walking in his will, the enemy's going to show up. He's going to put obstacles in your path. He's going to make things hard. And you need to understand why. The enemy hates us. He doesn't care whether we worship him or we follow him. That's not his goal. He has one goal. His only goal is to keep us out of heaven because he can never go back. And misery loves company. So if your life seems really easy right now and everything just seems like it's going super smooth, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I just ask, take a look at yourself honestly and ask yourself, am I really living the life that God intended for me? Because a life that never faces any opposition, a life that you just have everything going smoothly for you, the enemy's not threatened by you. So he's not attacking you because you're no threat. And if you're not a threat to the enemy, then you're not doing your calling. You're not doing what God called you to do. But the good news is God already has a plan. And he had a plan for you since before your parents were even walking around. He had your plan. The enemy does not get the final word. God does. And he has great things in store for all of us who honor him, right? So now I want to be clear about something else because I don't want this to get misunderstood. I'm not saying that God wants us to be miserable because he doesn't. That's even further from the truth than saying that he wants us just to be living comfortable. Because the Bible does say that we are children of the King and he wants us to live abundantly and blessed, right? But what is important is that we're not to fix our eyes on the things of this earth. Our focus should be building our riches in heaven. Our focus should be building our eternal glory, our eternal riches, and his glory, and serving him and what we're going to do for eternity. Because while this life might seem like a long time, 80 to 100 years or however long we end up being on this earth is nothing compared to eternity. So this world is just kind of like a vacation spot for us right now. It's not this isn't our home. Our home is either with God or apart from God. And if you're living your life for him and serving him, he's going to take care of you. But don't be discouraged when the world doesn't like you or you get canceled or anything, because we live in a time where good is called evil, and in order to avoid being canceled or to be accepted in this world and loved by the world, you're expected to glorify sin, basically. Don't fall for it, because that's just all manipulation by the enemy. So to wrap it all up, I just want to be very clear. Like, I'm not saying any of this to act like I'm better than anybody or I'm perfect, because if you know me, you know that's the farthest thing from the truth. I'm no better than anybody else. I'm not saying I'm a better Christian than anybody else. I'm not saying I'm a better person, because I'm not. We all sin. We all fall short of the glory of God, and that's not up for debate. We all were born into sin. But this thing that needs to be said for a lot of people is, and that a lot of people are afraid to say, is that not judging someone doesn't mean celebrating their sin. It does not mean justifying it, and especially doesn't mean using Christ as a way to justify it. Because yes, Jesus calls us to love one another. That is real. That is what, like, when they asked Jesus, what's the most important, what the most important commandments are. The first one is to love God above all else, and then to love your brothers and sisters, to love everyone else. But if you notice, the first thing he said is love God above all else. And in order to love God above all else, and you put him first, we got to love what he loves and hate what he hates. And he hates sin, and he loves us. So we got to love each other, but we hate the sin. And if, like, loving a sinner doesn't mean the same thing as accepting or loving their sin. It's not justifying it and saying, oh, well, I got to love them and I got to show them acceptance, because that's what the world is trying to get us to do. And you can love a person deeply while still standing firm on what God says is right and what God says is wrong. It's not hate. It's not it's not hatred or bigotry or anything that the world tries to say. It's just obedience to God. And in my opinion, if somebody's doing something that's keeping them separated from God, and you justify it and you accept it and act like it's okay, then do you truly love them? Because if, for me, for example, if I started drinking again, I got back in alcoholism or drugs or anything else, and somebody that supposedly loved me didn't come and tell me that I was wrong for it because they love me, and they don't, that's not loving me. That's just trying to avoid an argument, trying to keep things cordial for them. It's not trying to help me at all. So wherever you are today, whether life feels hard because you're walking in his will, or whether you're still trying to figure out what your calling looks like, just know this, that God is in control. He wrote your story. He created you with a purpose, and he has never, not for one single moment, lost sight of you. Stay the course, keep your eyes on him, and do not let the world or the enemy convince you to trade your eternity for their approval. God bless you.